which is quite different from what other venture capital firms do, or is it similar to what other venture capital firms do?
Well, there's a few people who do what we do a belief system-based investing, and probably take more risk-based investing. But most people follow the herd, and that's why if the tide is out, then you can't get funding for entrepreneurs, as many of you probably know. But there are people, I mean, Peter Thiel does that. We do something quite different than what they do. But we've talked a lot. You know, they have their belief system, we have ours. We both have belief systems we invest in, not what some English majors write about in the press. I have to take my take in English majors. My problem with English majors is the following. I appreciate it in graduate school and all that, but in undergraduate, if you have the privilege of getting a good education, you should do something that has broad skills that contribute to society, not just read more novels. So I think people who do English at Yale or Harvard or Stanford abuse the privilege they have. Together with the privilege of going to Stanford comes the responsibility of doing something that can be productive. I love entrepreneurial and technical audiences because they agree with me. There's other people who throw truth at me.
I would guess that 80% of the people in this room are probably engineers, so they'll agree with anything that you say. And many of them are also companies looking for investment. They better agree. Let's know what you're saying.
You know, that's sort of interesting. I just want to take a diversion there because one of the areas we're talking about clean tech. One of the areas that's gotten a lot of criticism is biofuels. One of the best investments we made in biofuels was this European guy who called me up probably 4 or 5 years ago, and he said, you know, we were doing ethanol, as Srikanth said, and he called me up and literally called me up. I picked up the phone, and he said, are you Vinod? And he says, everything you're doing is completely screwed up, you're dead wrong. And I felt like hanging up the phone. But I asked him probably 20 questions. I asked him to fly out, met with him for 45 minutes. I invested in that company. Why? Because the guy challenged me in everything I was thinking and doing. So I do have strong opinions because without opinions, you're really not doing something different than what others are doing. Then you're just following what the press is writing. So you have to have opinions, but you have to be able to be challenged in your opinions. And you have to be agile enough to say, when you're wrong, and you always take all criticism and examine what's true about it, what's not. And being critically honest with yourself is really important entrepreneurial skill. It's an important skill in any area, and most people hate being challenged or proven wrong. I love being challenged and proven wrong because now I've learned something. If you tell me what I'm doing is really great, I feel good, but you've really not helped me. If you point out something I'm doing wrong, it's actually very valuable to me because I can fix it if I'm open-minded enough to admit it. So ego gets in the way of progress and improving yourself. And I really want to make a point of that. And one of our largest biofuel successes, it's a public company called TO, came from me just sort of reacting to being challenged by asking a lot of questions and said, why did you think that? And he had very good reasons. And he said something very simple. He said, you're trying to do, since most people are engineers, this is a bit of chemistry, but you'll understand. All plants come from a combination of water and carbon dioxide. So they have hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. And he said, nature takes 1 million years to remove the oxygen, you're left with hydrocarbons, which is He said, what if you could do it in seconds, catalytically? And all of us did catalysts in high school chemistry. And I literally sat there saying, that's a brilliant idea if you can do it. And I said, come on over, he came talk to me. And after 45 minutes, I said, I gotta invest in this. I got 3 people who knew the area and said, oh, it's gonna fail. Here's why I don't work. And I said, okay, there's 90% chance it won't work. But what if there's a 10% chance that it will work? Imagine if you could take any biomass, and we have a $200 million facility in Mississippi that takes wood chips, which used to be a paper mill that shut down, and turns it directly into gasoline and diesel. You know, with the bamboo in the northeast of India, Assam, that area, it would go a long way towards supplying oil that we have to import and create rural jobs and lots of value on the ground. But to me, when I asked 3 experts, is there at least a 10% chance this will work? They all said no. But there's a 90% chance it will fail. And they kept saying 90% chance it will fail. I said the math says that there's a 10% chance it will work, so it's worth trying. If I lose, I'll lose 1 time my money, but if I win, I'll make 100 times. So the expected value of that, since most of your engineers works, and so we did that. It's a very successful technology.